kí Dr. Taiye Ayoola-Adedeji káàbọ̀ sí Erékọ 2023.
Ẹ ṣeun o, ṣe lè gbọ́ mi. Ẹ káàsán o, ẹ̀yin ará ẹbí. Mo dúpẹ́ pé ẹ gbà mí láyè láti sọ̀rọ̀ ní ètò yìí. As previously mentioned, my name is Dr. Taiye Ayoola-Adedeji. I'm the CEO of Taikun LLC, the founder of the cultural brand known as Yortones, and the author of the Yoruba Songbook for Children. I was delighted when Mrs. Oluwadamilare Igbayiloye, the lead instructor for Akonilede Yoruba, invited me to speak at this wonderful occasion. The topic that I'm going to be speaking on today is celebrating, promoting, and preserving Yoruba cultural values for future advancement through technology and innovation. For the benefit of those who are unable to speak or understand Yoruba, I would try to mix both my Yoruba and English as best as I can as we go along to make it for everybody to understand. So the topic at hand today is culture, right? We've listened to the drums, we've heard the singer sing and belt out the Oriki in such a powerful way. And so let's first define culture, right? Because everybody has different definitions for it. Culture refers to the set of shared values, beliefs, customs, behaviors, and language that characterize a group of people or society. It includes the ways people think, communicate, interact, and express themselves within a specific community. Culture is a concept that really influences our identity. It shapes our worldview, and it helps us set our social norms. Like I mentioned before, it shapes our identity. It impacts our value systems, our beliefs, our customs, and traditions. And it influences our speech through language. It impacts how we express ourselves, whether through art, food, or in our practices and behaviors with one another. It gives us a structure for a way of life and helps us appreciate our place in this world. And so now that we know what culture is, the question is, why is it important to hold on to culture? Why is it important to promote and preserve our Yoruba culture? Kí nìdí tá fi ń sọ pé kí àwọn ọmọ wa máa sọ èdè wa? Kí nìdí tá fi ń sọ pé ká gbé èdè àti àṣà wa lárugẹ? For one, culture plays a very crucial role in shaping individual and collective identities, right? The preservation of our Yoruba culture and language is key to our children and grandchildren's sense of self, sense of pride, and identity. In a world now where everyone is trying to define who they are and using all kinds of yardsticks and ideologies, those of us who value culture know very well that culture is so important that it gives us a set of expectations that help us define who we are. It gives us parameters and boundaries that we must stay within for our own benefit. And it helps us in how to guide our own children in, again, a society where every definition for identity is being floated around. For example, as a Yoruba person, I know that I'm expected to embody this concept of omoluabi. I don't know if many people have heard what is referred to as omoluabi. It's basically a sentence that is contracted into one short word, which is the sentence goes omo ti oluwabi, which means the child that God birthed or created. And when we embody this omoluabi, it means that we step into the world, authentically, with respect for ourselves and our families and our community. It's omoluabi connotes integrity, it connotes honesty and good character. And so this is a foundational concept in the Yoruba culture that every one of us should embody whenever we step into the world, this idea of integrity. When people interact with us, they should be proud to know us because of how we comport ourselves, because of the truthfulness with which we speak. Additionally, Yoruba people are very big on respect. I'm just going through some of the value systems that Yoruba people have and embody that must not become obsolete and must not get lost, even as we try to all assimilate in our different areas in the diaspora, right? So again, we're big on respect, right? We respect one another, and we particularly give a certain level of reverence to our elders. In the American society, for example, where I currently reside, when people get old, unfortunately, very often you find that they are relegated to the side. You know, the society oftentimes makes a very terrible mistake of pushing the elderly to the side and away from society. And that's because their value system is shaped in a culture that esteems youthful vibrance and physical looks more than it places value on age, life's experiences, and wisdom. And so that is definitely not the case with the Yoruba culture. We, as Yoruba people, value the elderly. We value our elders because we understand that their experience is invaluable. We understand that their experience can give us wisdom in how we navigate and how the future generations behind us navigate this world. And so we revere them because of their wisdom, their ogbon tiwani. We revere them because of their knowledge, their the imo that they possess. We understand as a Yoruba people that white hair is a crown, and old age is a privilege. And so therefore we honor our elders with the utmost respect and dignity. This is one component that we definitely must stress for the future generation, no matter where they are. It's okay for you to want to assimilate your culture wherever you find yourself, but there are certain key components of the Yoruba culture that we must not let die. Another important factor to preserving our culture is fostering a sense of belonging. The Yoruba say, in your lasho, which means people are like the rich fabric that clothe us and embrace us. So as Yoruba people, we love to celebrate everything, and we believe in the power of community. We believe that our children should be raised in a community of love such that everyone within that community has the right to train our children and correct them because it is to their benefit. We celebrate ourselves and others. That's why we have naming ceremonies, traditional weddings, and we seize every opportunity to dance and sing and celebrate our culture, our traditions, and our history. Even our oriki. I don't know if many people are familiar with oriki. Oriki are individualized, poetic expressions that embody our history, our family, our accomplishments, and sets some expectations for those listening to it to follow. The component of our culture known as Oriki communicates our history to our children, and in so doing empowers them with the knowledge of who they are, where they come from, and where they should be going. This ensures that we all maintain a sense of pride about ourselves and that our young, impressionable children have a level of self-confidence about themselves, about the meanings of their names, their beautiful features, their heritage, and their identity, no matter where they are in the world. So by preserving our cultural practices, our traditions, and language, we maintain that link to our heritage and provide future generations with a sense of continuity and connection to the past. Shangomi, that's a rhetorical question. I would assume that you are. And so this is a good place to take a look at just where we are as a people. We are at a stage now where if we don't do something, and if we don't do something very quickly, this rich culture that we are proud of, our beautiful Yoruba language that some of us speak, our heritage, our history, our accomplishment as a people will become extinct, meaning it will cease to exist, meaning it will become obsolete. We are at a risk of losing it all, and we must not let that happen. If we trace our history back, we know that Nigeria was under the colonial rule for a long period of time. And unfortunately, the effects of that colonial era is still plaguing us today, where we believe that somehow, Tabaso Edewa, if we speak our language, Taba Washowa, if we wear our clothes, if we chant the Oriki, if we wear Adure and Ashoke, that somehow there's something subordinate, there's something that makes you feel inferior, whereas that should not be the case. Let me say this. It is not those who told us that we should not celebrate our culture that will now come back at this juncture to tell us it is now okay to do so. The onus is on us as adults, as parents, as grandparents, as institutions, as a community to rise up and rethink the negative messaging we've received about our culture and language. We as a people, please, I ask that you mute if you're not, to avoid distractions, please mute your phones. Thank you so much. We as a people must reject this idea that our culture, our language, our heritage is not good. Asha, Ede, Alatigbe Laruge, Oda. We must reintroduce language studies into schools. We must reintroduce pride into our children so they can stand tall in this world. Let us wear our traditional attire. Let us speak our language to our people on a daily basis. Let us not be so preoccupied in trying to be like other people that we then forget who we are. Agbagbe, omo enitaje. May that not be the case for us and the future generations. Because what could happen when we forget who we are is then we neglect to teach our children who they are. And we are doing them a disservice when we don't empower them to understand who they are and where they're supposed to be in this world. We have such wonderful elements to our culture. We have our delicious foods, our rich attire, like I mentioned, the adire, the ashoke, the leke, the ukere, the fila, tigele. Our language that, by the way, others are paying to learn. So as a people, we have to promote and preserve what we believe is beautiful, and we have to recruit other people to join in this effort so that our language does not become extinct. Now, how do we do this? How do we transfer our culture to our offsprings? How do we spread the information? How do we ignite interest and enthusiasm to our people and even to other citizens of the world? Thankfully, the Afrobeats genre is doing that in some capacity. I went to Punta Cana very recently, and even in the Caribbean, they were belting out Afrobeats, and I forget which artist it was, but there were some Yoruba words infused in that. So we thank God that we are in a stage in life now where other people are starting to appreciate what we know to be beautiful. Now, we as individuals and communities need to catch up and get on board. The answer to doing that is technology, information technology. We have all the tools in the world, the AI and the apps and all these different things. And so we need to get with the times. We have to keep up with technology. We must get very creative and be very innovative because our children deserve it. When they go to school and they interact with other people and they're using all these different kinds of gadgets, and in the Yoruba world, we're still lagging behind, they lose interest. So we have to get very up to times because times have changed. The old ways that we used to motivate our children to learn about their culture and heritage, it has changed. It doesn't work anymore. So we need apps. We need schools with technology that can give our children that immersive experience that they crave. And this is the very reason why I came up with the digital textbook for learning and teaching Yoruba, titled the Yoruba Songbook for Children, which is available on Amazon. Our children are born, like I said, with almost the innate ability to operate any kind of gadgets and devices. And so it is important that we get with the times. And so for those of us who are very passionate, tí a mọ̀ pé ó ṣe pàtàkì kí a gbé àṣà àti èdè wa lárugẹ, we need to recruit others very quickly. And we need to form communities across borders to share ideas about what is being done currently to carry the next generation along and what else needs to be done. And one way to get on board very quickly is for all of us to reject this notion that our language and culture is subpar, because it is not. When you look at videos on social media, you recognize that other people value our rich culture and our beautiful language, sometimes even more than we do. And that is unfortunate. And so I am charging everybody on this program to really go back home and rethink how you communicate about your culture and language to your children and your society. Step into the world proud of who you are. Say your name with the right pronunciation. Your name is Taiye. There is a tone that's affixed to that name that gives its meaning, and there's nothing to be shy about. We can create apps, like I said. We can create animated TV series and use technology to our advantage, so that in addition to eating our foods at home with our families, speaking our languages on a daily basis with our children, wearing our clothes with pride, teaching our children our history and what their names mean, and encouraging others to do the same, we're making sure that we're connecting the future to the past in the present. Let me say that again. By going home and into our societies and being proud of who we are ensuring that our culture and language stay alive, and we're connecting the past to the future through our present. I hope that with this speech, I've been able to encourage you in some capacity to be proud of who you are, to be proud of your identity, your Yoruba identity, and to be encouraged and motivated to pass it on to your children, because our future, again, our future as a society and community depends on it. So, and I thank you for your attention. I can hang on for a couple of minutes to answer any questions. I know that time is fast spent, but this topic is so important to me, and I should that to everybody.
Okay. Wọ́n ní pé wọ́n máa send ẹ̀ sí email wọn, so tán bá ti send ẹ̀ á dọ́wọ́ ọ̀dọ̀ sí yín. Ẹ ṣé gan dọ́kítọ̀.
Ẹ ṣé gan ni. Ẹ kú iṣẹ́ o. Ẹ ṣé gan ni.
A máa rí yín bá wọn. Ẹ ṣé. Ẹ pàtẹ́wọ́ fún dọ́kítọ̀ Taiwo. Wọ́n ní ká jẹ́ ọmọlúwàbí Yorùbá, pé torúkọ wa bá ń jẹ́ Táyé ká má pera wa ní T-Money. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, ìwọ tí wọ́n pè ní Bùsọ́lá òpèrè lady B, Bruce Baby, irú èmi sìn Olúwaṣẹ́gun ni mo jẹ́, ó máa lọ ní pé Ṣẹ̀gẹ́ of London.